My name's Bryant, and in this video I'm going to show you how to train your serve. So I'm reaching a time in my life where I'm starting to explore returning to the competitive world of table tennis, and I need to start practicing. And one thing I can practice a lot of is my serves. So I'm going to start today, and I'm going to show you lots of different ways that you can focus on different aspects of your serve. You might not find all of these useful, but have a try, give 2 or 3 of them a go, and let me know how you get on. And if you find this useful, make sure you subscribe, like, and share the video too. Okay, here we go. So first of all, I'm going to start with a fairly simple task. I'm going to work on my consistency. How many serves in a row can I get on the table with at least 2 bounces? So I'm just going to be working on my short serve first. Now, what I'm trying to focus on is the height that I make contact, which is roughly around net height, and make contact on my side roughly 2/3 up the table. If I can connect those 2 things, I should be able to get my short serve. If I make a mistake and the ball goes in the net, or it drifts a little bit too long, then I need to assess one of those 2 things. Was I contacting too low, too high? Was it too close to the net? Was it too close to me? Okay, so I'm going to see how many short serves I can do in a row. So whilst I'm testing my skill of my short serve, really what this is a great test of is my concentration. Can I focus on the simple task at hand? Can I cut out those silly mistakes? Does my mind wander? Do I think about something else while I'm doing this? Or can I keep focused on what I'm trying to achieve? Okay, so mistake. I think I got to 8. I think there was 1 let serve, so I carried on the score. So I've set a standard right at the start. I've made 8. I'll go again. Can I beat 8? Let's see. So now I've set a standard and I have a numerical target. Whilst I'm working through this and approaching that number, that can create a little bit of tension, and that gives me an opportunity to overcome that bit of tension and pressure. 7 that time, I think, just caught the edge of my bat, made a mistake. So using numbers is a great way to just try and challenge and focus yourself. My serve obviously needs a little bit of work there. I need to focus on that. But I've set a level for the 10 minutes that I'm going to be training, and that's something that I can work towards. It's not very useful, and we're just serving time and time again with not too much thought and just that mindless repetition. So in here, I'm working on my consistency. I've got a numerical target, and I'm thinking about these 2 points that we mentioned. Okay, so I've always got something on my mind that I'm trying to work with and improve on. One more time. I'm not happy with my scores, so I'm going to try it one more time, see if I can beat it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Okay, better than was before. I think I should probably be aiming for 20, 25, but that's what I've achieved so far. So, okay, I need to keep working and perfecting my skill and my touch on the ball. Okay, so that's a good one for consistency, adding numerical targets to your service training. To improve your accuracy, it's good to use physical targets. You can also add numerical targets like we did before, but in this scenario, I've set up a couple of different targets on that side of the table, and I'm going to focus on 2 different serves. You can sometimes set a target up to hit, but in this scenario, I've tried to create a space. So for this one here, for my short serve, I'm trying to serve to the left of the pin as I'm looking at it. And I'm trying to test my accuracy of how wide I can keep my short serve. And the second pin, which is much deeper on the other side of the table, I'm trying to exploit that wide corner angle. So again, I'm not trying to hit the pins, I'm trying to use the space that's either side. First of all, I'm going to have a little practice at this one down the line, then I'm going to have a practice at the one across the corner, and then I'm going to start to alternate, one down the line, one across. Let's have a look. So I'm just using a little bit of time to get the right feel for the serve, where I need to be aiming, what I need to think about to create that wider angle, and a chance just to perfect that skill for when I move on to changing where I'm placing it. And a similar thing here for the wide one, just focusing on letting that ball drop really low, getting a nice close contact to the white line on my side of the table, and getting a good feel for the serve. Okay, so my accuracy started off quite good here, not so good there. As I started to go through a few serves, I started to build up my consistency there. So I've had a bit of a warm up, and now I'm going to combine these two serves together. So now I might add some numerical targets. Okay, so each time I make one successful serve here and a successful serve in the corner, I might give myself a point, okay, and see how many points I can get to when I'm using that combination. And by setting something like this up, it gives my training a purpose. I've got something that I'm trying to achieve. That increases my focus, and that allows the opportunity for improvement and learning. Okay, so in that scenario there, I've just scored a point, and I might set myself a time limit, see how many points I can score within that time limit, and then I can challenge myself next week, the following week. So things like this just help you set a standard and help you keep pushing the limits of your serve. So on this one, I'm going to be looking at the spin quality as well as the accuracy of my serve. So I've set up here a target for my hook serve. I'm going to be focusing specifically on a backspin version of it. And I'm not only assessing whether I can get through the cones, but I want the ball to be accelerating through the cones. If it's just moving through, then probably the spin quality is not enough. I want it to be able to accelerate through at a decent speed, so I know that I'm getting some good backspin on my serve. So here I have to remind myself that good quality spin is the focus of the exercise. So not to be distracted by the mistakes that I'm making. The objective isn't just to get the ball through the cones, but to get through the cones with good speed. So I need to maintain the spin quality and almost at some points just ignore the mistakes and slowly build my consistency. Okay, so I've set this one up specifically for my hook serve. You can obviously do the same thing for straight backspin. Maybe you have the cones side by side, and the ball goes straight through the cones, and then you're trying to get the ball to come back straight through. Maybe you set them up the other side. You can try to work on your pendulum serve, your reverse pendulum serve. There's lots of options. Okay, but this specifically focuses on the spin quality as well as my accuracy. And finally, I'm going to be looking at and trying to improve my deception with my serve. For some of the other challenges and focuses that I've had, the objective has been on that side of the table. This is where things tend to get a little bit more technical, and I'm looking at the contact, the shape, the ball that I create, the technique that I'm using, where my bat starts, where it finishes. I'm really trying to assess things that happen in this sort of area. Now for this example, I'm going to start with my tomahawk serve, and I'm going to use my backspin version as a kind of a base to assess. Okay, so I'm going to stand in the middle of the table, slightly further back with my right leg just to open my body up. My bat will tend to open at this sort of angle to begin with, and I'm going to focus on hitting this leading edge here. You'll see that my bat's angled outwards slightly. Okay, I'm just looking at where my bat finishes. Naturally, it's quite a short stroke that I've got. The ball toss is slightly to the right-hand side of me, and I'm throwing it about head height. So these are the things that I'm considering when I'm using this serve. And here I'm just continuing to assess those points that I brought up, just thinking about my technique, where the bat's finishing, what it looks like, what it feels like, which is important too, so I can replicate it. Okay, so I need to be able to replicate this sort of action when I'm trying to produce my topspin serve. Okay, so I don't want to have a topspin serve that looks completely different. So if I've got my backspin serve down here and then my topspin serve up here, it's going to be very obvious for my opponent. So I've assessed my backspin technique. Now I need to make a couple of differences to try and create the topspin, and then I need to try and copy what I'm doing. So my backspin was here, bat slightly open, short action, almost finishing in front of me here. So I'm going to keep the same angle. Instead of hitting here, I'm going to focus a little bit more on this top part of my bat. And then once I've made that contact, then I'm going to try and finish down low like my bat was before. Okay, I can see now that the ball's bouncing much more towards the camera. It's not curling and coming off to the side. So that's good confirmation that I've got the spin that I'm after. Okay, so backspin and topspin. Backspin, topspin. Okay, so it feels quite similar to me. I'm personally noticing a bit more acceleration on my backspin version, and then I'm a little bit slower on the topspin. So maybe that's something I need to address, and just to make them look a little bit more similar. But on the whole, the technique felt fairly close together. Of course, there will be some differences. I can't affect or change where I need to be hitting the bat. That's going to help me create the two different spins. But everything else I can try and keep as similar as possible. But in this particular scenario, I'm aware of what's going on the other side, but I'm even more aware and conscious of what the shape of my bat looks like, the direction of my technique, where my finishing point is, because all those little details are going to help me make the serve a lot more deceptive. And a real good thing to do with developing this part of your serve is to record yourself. Watch it back. If you can see some big differences between them, then it's very likely that your opponent will see those differences too. So always worth watching back, and that might help you focus on a specific area of deception when you're developing your serves. Okay, so it's not just about practicing your serves, it's understanding which aspect of serve you're trying to improve, and then understanding how to manipulate that to help you improve in that area. And you might do things step by step. You might start with consistency of the serve, then producing more spin, then adding in some deception. Okay, so there's different ways that you can do that. So head to the hall, get training, use some of these things. Let me know if you found them useful or not. So if you found it useful, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Make sure you like it, leave a comment. What other information do you want to see around service? Work through my older videos, make sure you're having a little look at what's popping up next, and I'll see you at the next video. Okay, so there's backspin, 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 backspin,